Diagram arrays. 逃出情阵. Escape the array of affection. Xiefeng. September 8, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Of the 36 8-diagram arrays, the most difficult one to escape from is that of affection. Everything has affection. All beings have affection, and affection is the rainbow and the best condiment of life. If the sky is affectionate, then the weather will be favorable. If the earth is affectionate, then the grain will be abundant. If people are affectionate, then life will be auspicious and warm. If things are affectionate, then spring forest will abound. Affection is like salt in food. With too little, it will taste dull. In excess, it will be too salty. But if in moderation, then and only then, its flavor will shine. Happy lives are not unfeeling, but must not be trapped in affection. To be unfeeling is worse than to be a beast, but to be trapped in affection is worse than death. Affection can nourish people, but it can also torture them. Once people are poisoned by affection, they will become perverted. They will act like neither humans nor ghosts, but will be unreasonable, hysterical, and maybe even lose their minds eventually. Sort out your mood as you lie in bed. What is the most worrying thing in your life? What has tormented you the most recently? What is the hardest thing for you to give up? What depresses you the most? What concerns you most deeply? What do you want to maintain the most? What do you want to end the most, but are unable to? The answers are always affection. The affection between immediate family members, lovers, friends, classmates, masters and apprentices, teachers and students, comrades in arms, and so forth. Any special relationship that you establish with anyone else will entangle you and might make you worry for your whole lifetime. It will wrap you tightly within it and make you restless for your entire lifetime. This is the array of affection. Can you escape from this array? The array of affection is also the net of affection. Look at fishing nets. People cast their nets into the water, and any fish that enter it and cannot escape will be yanked out of the water and become meals on people's plates. Standing in heaven and watching the world, everyone looks like fish in nets. Those who cannot escape from their nets will become delicacies on the devil's dining table. Do you want to escape from this net of affection? It is hard to do so on your own. To do this, you must rely on the power of authority and the guidance of gods, Buddhas, celestials, and saints, especially the divine powers of Jesus Christ and Buddha Shakyamuni, and the roadmap of the guide. There is very little chance of escaping from it if you try your own way blindly. The most difficult nets to escape are the parents' and children's nets. Who can abandon parents' and children's affection, and are they not monsters if they do? Would they still be human? So, if you do not rely on the power of authority, then you cannot and you will not escape. The second most difficult net is the one of couples' affection. Now, more and more people are not marrying, which means that they can escape from the nets of couples' affection. Many people escape from nets of couples' affection by divorcing. More couples who are sticking to it want to escape but are reluctant to leave or find it hard to escape. In this case, they need the roadmap of the guide even more. The next most difficult one are the lovers' nets between boyfriends and girlfriends, which are also nets of affection that make people enjoy each other so much as to not want to leave each other and be willing to go through fire and water and hurl themselves into flames willingly. Life's joys, sorrows, bitters, and sweets are induced fully in this net of affection, like raging fires moving the earth and frightening heaven. In these nets of affection, most people are unwilling to escape. They will even risk their lives, go to hell, and fight for victory in a flash moment. Even with their heads broken and bleeding, their livers and gallbladders smashed, they will fly desperately like moths into flames. As long as there are people with whom we care about, with whom we miss, and with whom we want to maintain our relationships, we are in an array of affection. Until the day when we have nothing to care or worry about, with our minds abiding nowhere, our affection filling mountains and rivers, when we always long for the celestial islands, take things as they are, associate with others by following predestined relationships, act in accordance with our natures, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise, then we will not have escaped from our net of affection. How will you feel after escaping from your array of affection? It will feel like a frog crawling out from the bottom of a well into a pond, a wild horse stuck in silt returning to a prairie, a bird flying out of a cage into an idyllic forest, or a pig jumping out a pig pen and becoming human. The easiest, most direct, effective, and thorough way to escape from an array of affection is to become a Chanyuan celestial and live in the new oasis for life. From then on, you will no longer establish any special relationship with anyone else, especially by establishing a special love relationship with a member of the opposite sex. From then on, you will follow what is predestined, be open, leave things to fate, be free and unfettered, and enjoy life whatever it brings. When the wind blows through a clump of scattered bamboo, it makes a swishing sound, but as soon as it passes, no sound is left behind and silence reigns itself once more among the bamboo plants. When geese fly over ponds in winter, their reflections are seen on the water, but as soon as they move on, their reflections vanish. Do not be nostalgic for that illusion and do not miss the passing clouds, but fix your eyes on the celestial islands of the Elysium world. Trek and climb. Enjoy the scenery all the way. Never stay and be obsessed with any beautiful scenery. Never let anyone impede your pace forward. Everything will work itself out and you will ascend to the fairy world as it happens. 36道八卦阵情阵 36 8 diagram arrays. The array of affection. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qinyu. What in the world is affection? That it inspires beings to vow to accompany each other in life and death. Travelers flying together from south to north, their old wings enduring the cold and heat. Joy and sorrow, parting is painful. Among them, there are even more infatuated men and women. You should have something to say. Over 10,000 miles of layered clouds, 1,000 mountains with evening snow. For whom does the lone shadow depart? Yuan Haowen, Moyuer, Goose Mound Lyrics, first verse. What is affection? The weaver girl descends to the mortal world to marry the cowherd. The white snake transforms into Lady White to marry Su Xian. Meng Jiangnu travels thousands of miles to search for her husband and weeps at the Great Wall. Du Shenyang angrily sinks a treasure chest. Romeo willingly drinks poison. Zhu Yingtai willingly jumps into a grave. The stories depicted in books are just the tip of the iceberg. For thousands of years, the world has witnessed countless tragic stories of affection, where affection is so deep, it's like a cliff of broken hearts, and longing consumes the jade-like skin. In the end, the soul is shattered at the end of the world. Secret affairs, elopements to distant lands, sacrificing one's life for affection, dueling for affection, accumulating debts for affection, committing murder for affection. All these lead to chaos, destruction of homes, and the demise of people. What's the point of such fervent affection? Brilliance fades, regrets last a lifetime. Speechless before the heavens, only hatred and shame remain. Besides romantic affection between lovers and spouses, there is also affection between father and son, mother and daughter, father and daughter, mother and son, siblings, confidants, friends, comrades, classmates, masters and disciples, teachers and students, hometowns, etc. These constitute the web of human affections, the sea of affections, and the array of affections. Many people live and die for affection. Once affection is lost, people feel lost and aimless, wandering souls on the verge of collapse. What exactly is affection? That people vow to each other in life and death, suffer insomnia from lovesickness, persevere through countless hardships out of deep affection, spend their entire lives without regret, risk their lives in desperation, or engage in illegal activities. Affection is a kind of non-material energy that is embedded in the non-material structure of life to maintain harmony in family, society, fairyland, and humanity. Life must have affection. Without affection, life will perish. The greatest creators have affection. Celestial beings have affection. Birds and beasts have affection. Trees have affection. And even demons and monsters have affection. The more abundant and richer the affection, the closer it is to heaven. The more impoverished and barren the affection, the closer it is to hell. The broader the affection, the closer it is to heaven. The narrower the affection, the closer it is to hell. Affection is a series of 8 diagram arrays, with gods having divine affection, demons having demonic affection, celestials having celestial affection, humans having human affection, monsters having monster affection, ghosts having ghostly affection, beasts having beastly affection, birds having bird affection, trees having tree affection, grass having grass affection, and flowers having flower affection. Thus, it forms the levels and steps of life, the heavenly net and the heavenly array, binding each level of life to thrive and flourish in their respective spaces, orderly and disciplined. Consciousness, structure, and energy are the three elements that constitute the universe. Nature, love, and Tao are the three great treasures of life. Nature is the characteristic of structure, love is the characteristic of energy, and Tao is the characteristic of consciousness. So, what about affection? Affection embodies all three characteristics of consciousness, structure, and energy. Affection not only has the components of consciousness and structure, but also contains the essence of energy. In other words, affection is the need of consciousness and structure, but its essence is a kind of energy, an essential non-material energy needed by consciousness and structure. Therefore, affection is closely related to nature, love, and Tao. As long as there is nature, there is affection. As long as there is love, there is affection. As long as there is Tao, there is affection. Conversely, without nature, there is no affection. Without love, there is no affection. Without Tao, there is no affection. For human life, affection is like salt. If affection is too weak, life is tasteless. If affection is too strong, life is bitter. To elevate oneself to celestial being, one must escape from the human affection array. Without escaping human affection, one cannot enter divine affection. Without entering divine affection, one cannot become a celestial being. How does one escape the human 8-diagram array? In short, abandon human affection and seek divine affection. Specifically, diminish parental affection, deepen the affection for the ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator. Diminish the affection for siblings, friends, deepen the affection for the universe, all things in nature. Diminish the monogamous affection between men and women, deepen the predestined ethereal affection of the fairyland. Diminish the affection between master and disciple, teacher and student. Deepen the affection for Tao, the truth. Theoretically, the richer and broader the affection, the more divine it is. The poorer and narrower the affection, the more human it is. In practice, the more relatives, the more divine affection. The more lovers, the more divine affection. The more beloved ones, the more divine affection. The more one loves mountains, rivers, and nature, the more divine affection. The more one cherishes all life, the more divine affection. The more one enjoys playing and having fun, the more divine affection. What is affection in the world? At this point, the answer is found. Deeply affectionate, earnestly heartfelt. Mountains, rivers, and all things are loved by me. Heaven and earth merge with affection. Yin and yang unite, and the fairyland is born. Unending affection, not obsessed with affection. My affection pervades all. When my work is done, I will be fulfilled naturally. Beautiful ideals turn into reality. 36道八卦阵轮阵 36 8-diagram arrays. The array of ethical relations. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Ethical relations refers to the relationships established between individuals based on various factors such as generation, status, seniority, gender, and degree of kinship. These relationships include those between grandparents and grandchildren, parents and children, spouses, siblings, uncles and nephews, aunts and nieces, in-laws, rulers and subjects, superiors and subordinates, leaders and followers, employers and employees, masters and disciples, teachers and students, and so on. Various roles in society, such as the president, vice president, secretary of state, prime minister, ministers, governors, mayors, county magistrates, bureau chiefs, section chiefs, town chiefs, village chiefs, and ordinary people, form a hierarchical array. Similarly, roles in a corporation like chairman, CEOs, managers, team leaders, and staff members form another array. In religious contexts, the Pope, cardinals, bishops, priests, monks, and believers form yet another array. In a family context, relationships between grandparents, parents, children, and grandchildren form an array. From these principles, we derive a network of relationships. Familial relationships, relationships with nature and society, relationships among divine beings, ethical human relationships, moral norms, ethical principles, order of relationships, sequence, order, structure, generational relationships, matching relationships, party relationships, military relationships, relationship charts, quality of relationships, noble relationships, prestigious relationships, tribal relationships, material relationships, experiential relationships, quality of relationships, intimate relationships, listed relationships, peer relationships, and so on, forming a network of relationships. Ethical relations uphold the order in human society, establishing a clear hierarchy and maintaining orderliness among individuals based on mutual respect and deference. Every individual, regardless of who they are, navigates their life within this matrix of ethical relations embedded in this intricate web of interpersonal relationships. Should anyone breach these ethical relations, they will face the punitive consequences of this ethical matrix. Such transgressions may include violating norms and ethics, disrupting societal relations, disregarding moral principles, or behaving worse than beasts, resulting in a moral torment or societal condemnation. By binding individuals within these ethical relations, people are provided with guidelines to follow, preventing chaos and disorder. However, being trapped within these ethical relations, individuals become ensnared in a perpetual cycle of life and death, unable to escape the inevitable realm of existence. They are also unable to escape the confines of the territories of different qualities of life. For instance, the influence of parental relations within the ethical array is so profound that it becomes difficult for individuals to escape. Similarly, marital relations within the ethical array constitute a significant portion of one's life, meaning that half of one's happiness or misery is created by their spouse. Once interpersonal relationships are established among individuals, they inevitably come under their influence. Aspects such as consciousness, thought, emotion, spirit, lifestyle, daily routine, diet, ideology, and so on, are unable to form an independent and complete personality and self-system. They cannot achieve harmony. The entire operation of human society is constituted by the array of ethical relations. To transcend to a celestial state, to escape the confines of the realm of necessity and enter the realm of freedom, one must escape the ethical array. Buddha said, all sentient beings are equal, but within the ethical array, equality among sentient beings is difficult to achieve. The reality of life cycle of reincarnation tells us that the ethical relationships between individuals in this life differ greatly from those in past and future lives. One's grandmother from a past life may become their daughter in this life. Their wife in this life may become their mother in the next life. Their children in this life may have been enemies in a past life. And someone who helped them in this life may have been their dog in their past life. The relationships between people, what are they exactly? If we limit our understanding of relationships to the present moment, everything seems clear. But if we expand our understanding to encompass a broader span of time and space, everything becomes confusing and difficult to discern. It's quite troublesome, quite complex. It's a headache. It's better to treat everyone equally and love all sentient beings. How to escape the ethical array? Cultivate independent consciousness. Cultivate a complete personality. Follow the laws of life and existence according to the will of the ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator. Heed the teachings of Christ Jesus, Buddha Shakyamuni, and the celestial Laozi. Establish moral guidelines for a happy, joyful, free, and blessed life. Regardless of who you are, as long as you can make me happy, joyful, free, and blessed, I'll play with you. Otherwise, I won't. Regardless of who you are, as long as you can help my life ascend to the realm of freedom and reach heaven, I'll play games with you. Otherwise, goodbye. However, one must still fulfill their responsibilities and obligations and repay their debts. 36道八卦阵喻阵 36 8 diagram arrays. The array of desire. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. The more you eat, the more you crave. The more you sleep, the lazier you become. The more you steal, the itchier your hands get. The more you gamble, the more avaricious your heart becomes. Habits become second nature, and this second nature obscures our true nature. Things always naturally develop in the direction of habitual tendencies, and in the end, we lose control, sinking deeper and deeper, making it difficult to escape. Everything can become addictive. Smoking, drinking, eating meat, using drugs, gaming, seeking pleasure, making money, fighting, holding positions of authority, frequenting bars, even using the internet. Negative emotions like jealousy, resentment, comparison, criticism, blame, lies, laziness, selfishness, greed, and arrogance can also become addictive. Once a person becomes negative and develops an unhealthy psyche, pessimism becomes the theme of their life. They may become isolated, obstinate, stubborn, rigid, and eventually suffer from depression. Why does this happen? This is due to the 8-diagram array set up to maintain a certain number of lives in each level of existence. It is called the array of desire. It is like a nose ring on a bull, leading people back and forth in the desire array, making it impossible to escape from a certain space of life. There are 8 major desires: appetite, affection, sexual, desire, desire for pleasure, material desire, desire for reputation, desire for life, desire for possession, control, and desire for excellence. These 8 desires form the desire array. Normal needs are not considered desires. Anything beyond normal needs is considered a desire. For example, constantly craving delicious food, indulging in delicacies, is called desire for food. Constantly thinking about establishing emotional relationships with someone or constantly fantasizing about sexual relationships with different people, rather than going with the flow, is desire for affection or sex. Always seeking leisure activities or indulging in comfort is desire for pleasure. Working tirelessly to earn money to buy property, land, goods, and equipment is material desire. Going to great lengths to maintain a good reputation is desire for reputation. Taking extreme measures for health, consuming supplements, practicing meditation, and living in a state of intoxicated oblivion is desire for life. Racking one's brains to control resources, people, or positions is desire for possession. Striving with every nerve, enduring hardships to stand out from the crowd. Seeking magical powers or supernatural abilities to make others envious is desire for excellence. Preface to the chapter on Revelations by Xiefeng. The spirit, Tao, of the greatest creator and the universe are inseparable, just as the earth and life are intertwined. The human body's organs, blood and marrow, sensory organs, hair, and consciousness are also interconnected as a whole. The greatest creator has never engaged in direct conversations with any individual in human-created languages. However, this does not mean that the greatest creator is distant from humanity. The greatest creator is constantly in dialogue with humans, but the form of communication is not through our human languages. Instead, it occurs through the language of the greatest creator. All things in the natural world are the language of the greatest creator, and all phenomena in nature are the utterances of the greatest creator. The sun, moon, stars, rivers, lakes, oceans, wind, clouds, rain, snow, humans, animals, birds, insects, trees, flowers, mountains, rocks, and the earth itself are all the language of the greatest creator. The movements of celestial bodies, the rushing of rivers, the roaring of the sea, the changing of weather, the falling of rain and snow, the shifting of seasons, the growth and decline of living beings, including the chirping of insects, the calls of birds, the shouts of humans, the neighing of horses, earthquakes, floods, thunderstorms, and lightning are all the speech of the greatest creator. Everything that humans perceive through their eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body is the language and speech of the greatest creator. To understand the language of the greatest creator and comprehend his speech, one cannot rely solely on sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. It requires spiritual perception, but spiritual perception alone is not enough. Wisdom is also necessary. Without spiritual perception, we will never understand the language and speech of the greatest creator, and without wisdom, we will never grasp what the greatest creator is saying. Having spiritual perception alone without wisdom, we can only sense the presence of the greatest creator but cannot accurately understand the workings of the greatest creator's spirit, Tao. In other words, we may only know that we are destined to live and destined to die, but we are unclear about the reasons why we exist and why we must face death. This is referred to as knowing the what, but not knowing the why. Having wisdom alone without spiritual perception, we cannot truly perceive the existence of the greatest creator. We can only rely on accumulated human knowledge, experience, lessons, rigorous logical reasoning, and scientific experiments to uncover some mysteries of the universe, nature, and life. In other words, we may understand why we live and why we die, but we cannot comprehend the ultimate reasons behind the necessity of life and death. This is referred to as knowing the why, but not knowing the what. With the exception of a very small number of individuals who possess both spiritual perception and wisdom, generally speaking, religious figures have spiritual perception but lack wisdom, while scientists have wisdom but lack spiritual perception. The majority of the general population, who fall between these two categories, lack both spiritual perception and wisdom. They merely exist blindly, living their lives without a clear sense of purpose. The chapter of Revelations is the divine revelation given to me by the greatest creator. Before completing the chapters on unconventional thinking, the greatest creator, universe, time and space, humanity and human life, self-improvement, self-cultivation, and physical and spiritual health care, it is necessary to first complete Revelations. However, considering that Revelations directly involves the mysteries and secrets of the universe, it could pose significant risks if known by individuals with malicious intentions. It is akin to nuclear weapons. If in the hands of peace-loving individuals, they can deter those who seek to cause war and unrest, instill fear in them, and prevent their recklessness. But if controlled by evil individuals, humanity will suffer greatly. Jesus warned me, "Do not give holy things to dogs, nor cast pearls before swine." The Buddha enlightened me, "Speak for the Mahayana practitioners." The spirit of Laozi advised me, "Tao, when obtained by a noble person, becomes the foundation of their self-cultivation, while when obtained by a petty person, it is treated lightly and without reverence for life." What should I do? I must heed the admonitions of gods, Buddhas, and immortals. However, in the vast sea of humanity, it is impractical for me to individually seek out noble individuals who practice the Mahayana path. Moreover, time is limited, and I don't have much time to patiently guide each person. Therefore, I have no choice but to follow the doctrine of the mean and adopt a middle path. I will conceal the mysteries and secrets beneath the surface of phenomena, only hinting at them. This way, those who possess spirituality and wisdom can see beyond the surface, transcend the vastness, and more easily discover the gems and gold beneath the earth's surface. As for the rest of the people, they will be like what Jesus said, "Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand." In addition to Revelations and the other mentioned chapters, there is another chapter in Life Genuine called the Preaching of the Tao. This chapter is entirely different from the Tao Te Ching, and it can be said without exaggeration that the wisdom contained in the preaching of the Tao far surpasses that of the Tao Te Ching. For instance, when it comes to beings who are destined for or already in hell, Jesus' attitude is, "Lest they repent and be forgiven." On the other hand, in Buddhism, Bodhisattva Ksitigarbha vows, "I vow to save all sentient beings in the world, and I will not enter the Elysium world until hell is empty." Who is right and who is wrong? Whose guidance should we ultimately follow? Preaching of the Tao specifically addresses such challenging questions. However, the timing is not ripe at the moment. Only when Life Genuine is widely accepted by all human beings can preaching of the Tao be shared openly. It is similar to constructing a building where exquisite chandeliers cannot be hung until the main structure is completed. Laozi said, "When the highest type of followers hears Tao, the truth, they try hard to live in accordance with it. When mediocre types hear Tao, they seem to be aware and yet unaware of it. When the lowest types hear Tao, they break into loud laughter. If it is not laughed at, it is not Tao." Regarding the chapter of Revelations, Those who understand will discern its true essence, while those who do not will merely spectate. Apart from that, I have nothing else to discuss. 人生需要一条跑道. Life needs a track. Xiefeng. February 27, 2007. Edited by Kayer. Many talented people living among us appear to be mediocre, not because they are of low intelligence or are not gifted, but because they have either not found their own tracks or they have taken the wrong ones. Everyone has unlimited potential, but the main reason for not having given play to their potential is not because they are born stupid or have insufficient mental skills, but because they have never found their best life track from start to finish. No matter how excellent an aircraft is, it will never fly if there is no runway, for an aircraft with no runway will never be more than a pile of metal. No matter how much potential an excellent sprinter or long-distance runner has, his or her talents would remain buried without a racetrack, knowing not whether they are a mediocre horse or a swift horse until death. Life needs a track, and battlefields, business markets, officialdom, farms, and social realms all have lots of them. We must choose the track that best suits us, because it is only with the right track that we can give full play to our talents. Generals Eisenhower and Patton demonstrated their outstanding military talents because they had the track of war, but if there had been no tracks of war, who would even know their names? Zhu Jun, Yang Lan, and Ai Ping, and others have become the focus of millions of people, sparkling with brilliance, simply because they shared the track of television. Who would they otherwise be? Jet Li and Andy Lau rose to fame far and wide simply because of the track of movies. Throughout the history of Communist Party of China, many outstanding politicians, strategists, and diplomatic talents have emerged and many commoners became generals. It was because they took the track of the communist movement that they had brilliant lives. But without this track, their talents would have been drowned in life's ocean. Many people turned onto this track and formed the backbone of the state, and many others became millionaires or even billionaires because they took the business track after China's reform, when it opened up, and they gained much wealth. But what would their lives be like today without this track? Nobody knows. Many eminent Buddhist monks showed their superior wisdom because they followed the track of Buddhism. If you want to make something out of life, you must choose a track that suits your personality because you cannot give play to your talents without the right track. Without the correct track, you will drown in the crowd. The internet is a track and many people are shining with brilliance upon it, creating their own blogs and gathering their own social connections. A large number of authors, writers, critics, and practitioners are emerging on this track and are demonstrating their talents. You have to find your track, but if you do not see the proper one, you should build your own. Why? Because you will play better, be better at the game of life, and make your life more colorful. Do not pretend to be aloof and say that you are too good to engage in this, because that would be finding excuses for your incompetence and failures. A soldier who does not want to be a general is never a good soldier. A life that does not want to have a glorious course is never a good life. If you want to make big money, be the boss. For being the boss is the track to making the most money, and if you want to be an official, build your social connections. For building social connections is the track to being an official. There are numerous tracks, and they are everywhere, but if you want to play your talents to the maximum, you will have to choose a track with infinite prospect. If you choose a good track, you can have a good life, but if you choose a bad track, you can only have a bad life. Zhang Guotao abandoned the track of the Communist Party and eventually, unknowingly froze to death. On the other hand, Deng Xiaoping stuck with the track of the Communist Party and eventually had his wishes fulfilled. If you choose polishing shoes, then you will unconsciously be on the track of polishing shoes. If you choose to steal, then you will unconsciously be on the track of crime. If you choose to reap without sowing, then you will, over time, get on a greedy, selfish, and parasite track. If you choose a mass movement, you will be on the track of confronting the government. If you choose life genuine, then you are naturally taking on the track of trekking and climbing to the highest realm of life and life. Which is the best track? It depends on you. You must choose your track completely on your own. The best track is one that you can follow for a lifetime. Tracks can be regularly replaced if they are not good, because some tracks have no futures and lead to dead ends with steep precipices. You will have to sharpen your eyes to think and judge. Some tracks seem narrow and bumpy at first, but the more you walk on them, the broader, brighter, and more brilliant they become. while others look broad, densely populated, and big. Yet the more you walk on them, the more your feet hurt, you become confused and frustrated, and the narrower and darker they become. If you have the ability to rule a country, the ambition to ride on top of the world, and have both superintelligence and indomitable willpower, then you had better build your own track. If you do not, then you can borrow others' ready-made tracks. For example, instead of creating your own blogs with few hits, you might want to promote your ideas and display your talents on another's website or bulletin board. Instead of creating your own website with painstaking care and precision, yet having no visitors, you might as well demonstrate your skills on someone else's websites. Once you have chosen your track, you must not give it up too easily, for giving up means failure. Remember, 1,000 sails pass by the shipwreck and 10,000 saplings thrive beyond the withered tree. No one will sympathize with you if you fail. At most, they will express regrets and pity. Once you find that your track has no future, you must give it up as soon as possible and try to blend onto the track with the most brilliant prospects at once, because if you bite the bullet and play hard, you will only miss your opportunity and then grieve it for a lifetime. Remember, the earth will rotate the same, with or without you. A life needs a track. As long as the route is right, you can stride ahead. I hope you follow your splendid life track.
人生的主次先后，轻重缓急。
Priorities, the order of importance and the emergence of life. By Xiefeng. From the long-term perspective, we know that each life lasts for only a fleeting moment. Regardless of how capable we might be, we are incapable of escaping our inexorable doom. How to spend this fleeting life is a question deserving our serious consideration and discussion. Look at life from the perspective of life. Life is only a journey, a flash of light in the infinite time and space of life. Since life is so transient, we need to explore the routes and risks of our journey. What kind of life is the most beautiful? As we are all people, we must first consider how to be people. The greatest creator of the universe, created us and meant for us to be people, not ghosts, devils, celestial beings, Buddhas, or gods. If we surrender our humanness to devote our life, time, and energy to becoming higher forms, then we are doing it against the will of the greatest creator. It is only when we first conduct ourselves as people living by the will of the greatest creator that we can hope to attain Buddhahood at the end of our life's journey. It is as if the boss of a company hires someone to be a clerk. The clerk's purpose is to dedicate his efforts toward his own duty, not to ask his boss to consider him to be a section chief, because it is only after he performs his clerk's duties well that the company boss should offer him the opportunity to be promoted to the position of section chief. The intent of the greatest creator in creating us is to enjoy life and not to make us suffer at all. Because for human beings, the greatest creator is love, great love. I do not worship men of the hour or heroes who gallop onto battlefields, nor do I worship those great people who are admired by the masses, or the ordinary people who become Buddhas and gods of the mortal world. I only pay tribute to ordinary, simple, honest, and hardworking people, because those people's lives conform to the way of being mankind. Those who sacrifice their present life pleasures to focus on grace after death do so against Tao. The moralization teachings that people can only obtain well-being after going through affliction and suffering definitely leads them astray. The preaching that asks people to cultivate achievements with intensity, regardless of their family responsibilities, in an attempt to attain special magical powers and arts to glorify the mortal world is questionable. Could it be the devil's temptation? The practice of hyping celebrities, successful figures, distinguished scientists, outstanding entrepreneurs, millionaires, experts, emperors, great men, and heroes will prove to be disturbing, causing people to crowd onto the single-plank bridge and to forget the meaning of life. The benevolent see benevolence, and the wise see wisdom. Life Achanuan preaches that the ordinary life is the best life. Life's priorities and orders of importance and emergence should be as follows. The paramount thing in life is to revere the greatest creator, which mainly embodies reverence of nature and reverence of life. If we consider nature as appendages that can be arbitrarily spoiled, treat life, including animals, beasts, insects, fish, trees, flowers, and grass, as dirt, then we are defying and profaning the greatest creator. Our life is one of evil and is doomed to extinction, and we can no longer have a bright future. The first thing to consider and pursue in life is the beauty of the soul, rather than the accumulation of power, money, fame, and desirable people. If one's mind is not beautiful and their soul is dirty, then their life is bound to slip into hell. They are bound to keep company with devils and demons, and their life is a definite failure. The most important thing in life is to explore the mysteries of the universe and the meaning of life. The greatest creator always rewards the wise who have spiritual natures and wisdom and offers them wonderful spiritual enjoyment. If we affix our eyes only to the limited time and space, or even on meeting the needs of our lust, then we are bound to be lost and the water of life will evaporate. The most urgent questions in life are how to elevate the non-material structure of life, its spiritual nature, toward the development of higher life space directions, and how to sublimate our personalities and to perfect our spiritual natures. None of us know what will happen tomorrow. One certain thing is that our life structures will determine the life endings we will have. Everything in life should revolve around this point, because if we die tomorrow, all that we own in the mortal world will be gone. All of our efforts will be in vain, and our precious lives will go wasted for nothing. I am talking about the great way of life. You may take time to think about this. Xiefeng is of no importance, but what is important is that Life Genuine can lead a person's life into an infinitely wonderful world.
寻找人生的最佳坐标系和坐标点。
Find the best coordinate system and the best coordinate points of life. Xiefeng, edited by Kair. This article was inspired by the annotation to the Analects, Shui Er, verse I. Once the roots are established, the way will grow therefrom. Having roots is the way to be human and how to learn about the universe. If you understand how to be human, you can lay the foundation to understand about heaven and the earth. If you do not understand how to be human, it will be difficult to learn about heaven and the earth. What is the way to be human? In my humble opinion, we must first understand our place in the time and space of the universe. Namely, that you are neither God, Buddha, a celestial being, a ghost, a devil, nor a beast, but that you are a mortal human. Knowing that you are a human, you need to do human things, speak human words, take the human way, and seek human business. You should not do ghostly things, speak the God's words, take the devil's way, or engage in absurd businesses. How does one do human things? Show filial piety to your parents, respect your teachers and seniors, care for the young and lonely, help your siblings, show concern for your relatives and neighbors, show compassion to plants and insects, and protect the landscape and the environment. These are human things, and anything that is contrary to them is inhuman. How does one speak human words? Consider if others were in your place and speak respectfully. Do not spread unsubstantiated rumors. Help others to resolve their differences and bring them peace. Advise others to do good things and not to go astray. Motivate people to make progress and fight for their futures. How does one take the human way? Be committed to your own duties. Manage your household with diligence and thrift. Be studious and make progress. Cast off your destructive habits. Take only what is right for you. Study that which is worthy of being studied. Take only the way of Tao, and do nothing against righteousness. How does one practice human business? Engage in farming, forestry, industry, commerce, or politics. They are human businesses. Human business is the foundation of social stability, and it underlies the success or failure of the family and the state. People who actively participate in these endeavors and pursuits are doing human business. If it is not a human business, even if it can bring you much quick wealth, do not do it. How does one avoid doing ghostly things? By not being sneaky and afraid of being found out by victims or the legal system, doing things that are offensive to heaven and reason, cheating a superior or deceiving a subordinate, dishonoring one's parents, bullying the young and the weak, wrongly accusing and murdering the good and virtuous, insulting the sovereign, duping the ignorant, speaking ill of one's peers, bearing false witness, rebelling against the clan leader, taking credit for the work of subordinates by bullying them, seeking favor by flattering, disrespecting one's countrymen, disrupting state affairs, rewarding unjust acts, harming and implicating the innocent, slandering the saints and sages, undermining morality, filling the cave and covering the nest, harming conception and breaking eggs, stealing others' achievements, discrediting their good conduct, disclosing their indecent secrets, injuring their appearance, separating children from their parents, wasting other people's money and resources, engaging in illegal conduct, forcing young girls to prostitute themselves, damaging marriages, taking away people's beloved, harboring murderous hearts, blaming others, desecrating ancestral graves, destroying homes, deluding with heretical doctrines, bewitching minds, talking about ghosts and monsters, or by poisoning the spirituality. These are some of nearly 100 items enumerated in Life Genuine, Life and Life's Track. How does one not speak the God's words? They are the words of gods in heaven and are unknown to those who have not attained Tao. And even those who have attained Tao must be very knowledgeable about the truths of the universe. It is not something that ordinary people can understand. If you do not know how to be human but speak the God's words, then you are either talking nonsense or you have lost your mind. How does one not take the devil's way? By not misleading living beings, pursuing special magic arts and powers, inciting to rebel, promoting tyranny, touting heroes, singing the praises of totalitarianism, teaching others not to do the things of ordinary people, and other heterodoxical doctrines. All these are the devil's ways. How does one not engage in deluded businesses? By not farming their own land but still expecting wealth to arrive, not working but scamming, not studying or learning but expecting to know, not attending to their own business but wanting everything, being the blade of grass that wants to be a flower, the flower that wants to be in the orchard, the tiger that wants wings, or the bandit who want to be a deity celestial being. All these are absurd businesses. If roots are not established, then everything will be void, but if roots are established, then everything will be done. First be a person, then be a lady or gentleman. After that, follow the examples of the saints and sages, and then pursue the way to become a deity celestial being. Alas, the secrets of the Great Way are hidden to most people, but they reveal themselves to those who are enlightened. After seeking the Great Way everywhere for 3,000 years, it still hides in narrow margins. Therefore, to be a human being is the best coordinate system and the coordinate points of life.
感恩升华生命的第一要素。
Gratitude, the first element of life's sublimation. Xiefeng. Deformities lack beauty and make us feel unutterably upset and irritable or even disgusting. This is not a man-made feeling, but an instinctive rejection response like a physical allergic reaction to certain substances. Those without gratitude have deformed life structures, and this is the reason why we dislike and even hate some people. Life is a non-material structure which can be either deformed and unbalanced or perfect and symmetrical. Lives with more perfect and symmetric structures live in higher spaces of life, while lives with more deformed structures live in lower ones. All animals have life structures which are less perfect than those of human beings, so they can only survive at animal levels, while humans with perfect human natures and standards are celestial beings and live in higher-level spaces such as the 1,000-year world and the 10,000-year world because their life structures are superior to those of mortals and deities. It is like gases that exist at different levels of the atmosphere: the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, and exosphere. Life's ultimate goal is to evolve into higher-level spaces of life which result from the sublimation of one's life. This sublimation of life means letting one's own life non-material structure transit into perfection. How does one transit? Gratitude. Who and what should we be grateful for? Here are 8 with reasons for each. Thank the greatest creator for giving us bright eyes to enjoy our beautiful universe with starry skies, rivers, lands, and all the trees and flowers. Ears to enjoy the splendid melodies of the nature. Love and affection between men and women to enjoy physical and emotional pleasures which are blissful slices of heaven. Who designed and created the free but invaluable air and rivers of pure water, and who allows our easy survival and reproduction. We are bathed in sunlight and moistened by rain and dew. So how could we not thank the greatest creator? Thank Jesus Christ for his favor when he came into the mortal world to atone for us with his precious life and brought hope to our suffering lives. Then thank Buddha, Muhammad, PBUH, and Lao Tzu for their favor. Their wisdom resolves our inner sadness, sublimates our humanity, maintains our human dignity, and gives us inexhaustible and precious spiritual values. Thank your parents for their kindness, who exerted tremendous effort to bring you up, whose love is so heavy that even a green mountain cannot carry it, and even time and space cannot extinguish it. Thank your children for the joy that they brought to you. Thank your friends and relatives for their encouragement,